Shalom. I'm going to start by giving all the praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Arachak, Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations until the holy elect tabernacle of David scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. And it's a reason why Yahushai, he referred to our people as a sinful and adulterous generation. You know, it's worded different, you know, according to the Gospels. You know, one has it saying, the Lord said, in this evil and adulterous generation, or sinful and adulterous generation. And we know that he was talking about the wicked scribes and Pharisees that were rejecting him. And they were, you know, being hypocrites among men, appearing like they were righteous. But, you know, they was full of, you know, secret sins, secret faults that they kept hidden, you know, from man's eyes. Jake is just all around wicked. And that's, you know, why Yahushai had to come down and be that sacrifice. You know, the scriptures say there is none good. And you just see it, you know, because iniquity runs rampant amongst our people, even when they come into the knowledge of the truth. You know, just all around wickedness, you know, disorder. You know, a lot of our people don't have any self-control, no discipline. And, you know, this is why the Lord had to cast us off at some point. You know, he had to write a bill of divorce for both the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, Judah and Israel. So you understand, by the time the grace came after Yahushai's departure, that, you know, Paul had to be sent to all those Israelites, you know, who were integrated with, you know, sin, you know, because they were living among the other nations and learned their ways, adopted their practices, their culture. But they heard the gospel and they believed and they converted. But those ways were still, you know, effective, you know, and that's why there had to be a layout, a standard that they can follow, you know, to transform themselves from darkness into the light and to, you know, be holy. Because at one point they were unholy. You know, Paul said that, you know, it's even a shame to speak of some of those things that some of them were. And, you know, mainly, you know, you had a lot of the Israelites that were under the Greco-Roman influence. So they were desensitized to adultery. They was desensitized to, you know, sexual immorality, because that was the way of living in that time. So even by the, you know, time when the Lord was on the scene under the Roman Empire, it was just complete, you know, degeneracy going on. So the Lord, he said, in this wicked, in this sinful and adulterous generation, you know, they seek after a sign, but there's not going to be a sign left to it but the sign of prophet Jonah. You know, at least when Jonah was sent, the town repented, you know, when they heard the message from him. But they wasn't even going to get that luxury. They were going to just basically die in their sins, man. So anyway, I'm watching this Ringo expose on this dude, Pastor Dowell. And you got to, you know, it's pretty long, of course. This is over 8 hours. I don't expect nobody to watch this whole live show. You might have to watch it in parts if you really are. If you're interested. But around this part, he's playing the clip where the victim of adultery, all right, the man who got his wife taken by Pastor Dowell. He's giving his testimony in this video that he's playing and he's commentating on. And right around this point in the video, the man who got his wife taken, his wife, she starts to give her side of the story, because it all started with, you know, him getting with this particular woman, and his wife, you know, she didn't like the idea of it, and it was being told to her by Pastor Dow, which shows you women do not need to be communicating with other men, right? But he was basically putting the idea in her head that, you know, your man, you know, he's an adulterer. You know, he took that woman, and that woman, she was married when he got with her. Now, technically, any woman walking around that have a baby dad, or she's been in a relationship before, but she may not currently be in one, when you meet her, the very first dude that lay with her, technically, that's her husband. So these two, they came to some understanding due to her husband not being in the picture for, I guess, a few years or so. But she does have children by the baby father. That was her former husband. He got deported, and a few years later, she ran into this guy. This is the Eric guy, Eric Gonzalez, I think is his name. You know, the former husband of the chick that Pastor Dowell, you know, took into his harem. All right, the Ephraimite, a Puerto Rican chick with the head covered, which, you know, he had several interviews with her. One before she divorced this dude Eric, and one after the adultery, where she's literally sitting right next to this dude and saying all type of good things about him. She calls the dude sexy, and he got power and this and that. So it was like, damn, like she's talking about this dude in front of the congregation, you know, like he's in, you know, like that's her God or Lord or something. So that's clearly adultery, right? But going back to this situation, I'm gonna play the video. You know, I'm just trying to give the background to it before I actually respond, because this is going to show you why this is a sinful and adulterous generation. All right, and it also humbles you, because this society is so messed up. You know, when you get with a woman, it's not a real union, because it's more than likely, you know, it's a big chance that the woman that you're dealing with, she dealt with men before you. If you get with a woman and she got a child, most definitely she's not a virgin. You get with that, that's adultery. So technically we all are adulterers in the eyes of the Heavenly Father. If your woman wasn't a virgin when you got with her, then technically you're committing adultery. And this is the reason why, you know, we can't boast of the law. Now, you don't do away with the law. You know, once you convert and you know the truth, now you do your best to not repeat those sins. And that's why we were given grace. Nobody can boast in the law under the Lord, man. Nobody's justified, because we all are guilty. But I just want to, you know, go into this aspect of it. All right, dealing from the victim who got his woman taken, and this, you know, that same guy, you know, taking his current woman, all right, from another guy who was no longer with her. Now, the difference of the situation with them is this woman's baby's father, he actually talked with this dude, and they had an understanding that pretty much, you know, because he was out of her life. He was already dealing with another family in another country. So he didn't even worry about this dude, you know, taking her on as his woman. But technically, that's still adultery. All right. So anyway, let me play the clip.
Again, where's your 1 and 2 witnesses in this?
But if y'all already in a relationship at this moment anyway, and Ephraim and Nelly is not together now, right? At this point, y'all not together because y'all didn't get together when the initial divorce was mentioned and the split happened with the school, right? So, regardless of the fact, if Nelly is already requested a divorce, Elder Ephraim is no longer the elder over straight for a century, whatever. All right, you can't go and have another relationship now.
Well, let's put it like this: whether especially in the perception of men in the nation. Let's say I got her and I got 3 other people. According to our culture, what's the problem with that?
Right.
That would be my question.
Right. I believe in I practice and believe in polygamy. What they call polygamy, multiple families. Right. P. Diddy, Pastor Dawa, Kawadawa is a polygamous man now. And we found out that he started doing that with thy wife.
Yeah, that's wicked as hell. The dude, based on him taking another man's wife, is what inspired him to start teaching polygyny. You know, I can have more than one woman, but I'm going to start that by taking women that are in the congregation that are obviously married women. That's wicked as hell, man. But hold up. Let me see, because I'm trying to get to the point where the lady starts speaking. And she started to mention how her former husband that got deported, he wasn't in the truth. Which it doesn't matter if that man is not in the truth. Let me see. Is this it?
Jerry comes, I don't know if it was coming in or coming out, and he says, oh, look, this is one of my clients, you know. And I was like, hey, how are you? That was it. That was the end of it. We never had a conversation. All we did was say hi and bye. That was all.
Okay, so was y'all a couple at the time?
No.
Okay, so what is this accusation of him being in a car with a woman committing adultery?
Yeah, all right. Eventually, I was hanging out with her in front of my house, and we were talking and smooching, and he happened to walk by. It was about, I don't know, 1 o'clock in the morning, what have you. He was coming in. When he came to the vehicle, I waved him off. I told him I was busy. He went in, and that was the extent of that.
Notice that. He in the car doing whatever. Somebody walking by watching them. You see what I'm saying? Watching. Like, who does that? What kind of monster look? You see a man there with a lady and you there.
Yeah, that's off. You know, that's supposed to be in secrecy, and ain't nobody supposed to be watching, you know, a man and a woman that are together. You know, that's come on, man. I think there's a scripture on that where it talks about a way of a man with his maid or something like that. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, that's creepy as hell. It might be in the Apocrypha. Hold up. Yeah, Proverbs, okay, yep. Proverbs 30 and 19. It is Proverbs 30 and 18. It says, there be three things which are too wonderful for me, yea, four which I know not. The way of an eagle in the air, the way of a serpent upon a rock, the way of a ship in the midst of the sea, and the way of a man with a maid. All right. And, you know, it's not for us to know. All right. So, you know, why would you be trying to watch a man and his woman, you know, doing things in secrecy that's not for your eyes to see? Jake is just wicked like that. But let's keep going.
Eavesdropping and then running back with the bochinche. Come on, man.
Okay, so this was how long after the first initial visit time she met him? Because y'all wasn't together.
I don't know if it was weeks, months.
The thing is that he says I was doing something that I was.
What did he say?
That I was giving him a shot. I don't know how he saw that I was giving him.
But the interesting thing is, if you're a man of the cloth, how are you in a car watching that and then you go into the church talking about that?
Having a conversation. So he's going over based on allegations that other people are talking about him, and he wants to just add more to the story.
That's exactly how it sounds. You know what I mean? And I could care less what y'all were doing in your car. I don't really care. My point is, who had the time to be there?
Can we pull together as a family and financially assist and help? And I was able to pull them in and bring them in to participate in all that. So I'm looking at it like, okay, if I'm helping you build your ministry in Florida, while my then wife is in over there in that area, while I'm trying to get rid of a house so that we could relocate and be together. But then all of a sudden, we got divorce requests or what have you. Let me just say this for those that don't know, if they don't recall the previous videos. Me and the ex were very transparent in our indiscretions or what have you. And we said it more as a testimonial purposes, the things that we did, the promiscuous behavior.
I mean, it's up to you if you want to do that. About him trying to, I guess, I'm talking about. I just need.
Can we pull together as a family? Period.
Right. Let me ask you a question. Is your ex-husband in the truth? Knowing he's a Hebrew Israelite, knowing who the Most High is, Hamashiach, mysteries, is he anywhere in this knowledge?
He's following idolatry. He's following by following the religion of Catholic.
Catholic, okay. So he is an idolater, you know, a Gentile in mind, okay, and y'all were separated, okay? Thou, sir, is a Hebrew, what you represent, sir?
Hebrew Israelite.
Hebrew Israelite.
I'm a Hebrew Israelite.
It's a Hebrew Israelite.
See, now, and that's the part. This is the part that I wanted to focus on. All right, Salakia, I had to, you know, do a little skimming and skipping and back, you know, rewinding. But I want to find this part right here. It doesn't matter that, you know, because you're in the faith and the ex-husband isn't, that qualified this man to be her husband. You know, and even in this truth where you got men that teach that if a man's wife isn't in the truth, he's to divorce her and get with a believing woman, and vice versa. You know, if a believing wife comes to the congregation, but her husband is still in the world and not in the truth, you know, he's Muslim or Catholic or Christian or whatever, you're supposed to get rid of that man and get with a man in the truth. And that's total wickedness. So that doesn't excuse this dude, even though he's a victim himself. All right. And that shows you we are definitely this is a wicked and adulterous generation. All right. It's just utter, you know, messiness amongst us, man. And you can see, you can definitely sense how chaotic and degenerate it is in some of these big congregations where you got a bunch of men and a bunch of women. You know, it pretty much leaves room for this type of behavior. You got all these men and all these women interacting together. All right. And that's why, you know, our standard at Great Millstone, you know, we pretty much keep it simple. We don't have no big church building or congregation where everybody come congregate. We meet up at the campsite, and that's pretty much our altar. You know, that's our place where we present our bodies as living sacrifice and you know, teach and prophesy in the camps. You know, of course, we fellowship with each other, amongst each other, but we don't have our women around. All right. Any brothers that got wives, they teach their wives at home. She's not coming to the camp. She's not going to be around the brothers like that. Okay. So that's just to not leave room or any opening for this type of stuff to start going down. Because if you have that setup, it's bound to happen. It's inevitable, you know. That's why Paul was constantly sending them letters to the churches, because, you know, it was set up that way, and you had adultery and all type of stuff going on. Women trying to teach men. It was completely out of order. But going back to this, it was technically wrong, you know, even though the dude wasn't a believer and he agreed to, you know, walk away. And, you know, years later, he comes around and he takes her, you know, that and that's, you know, we all are kind of in that boat. You know, your woman, when you got with her, she was, you know, the guy before you know, I'm pretty sure they walked separate ways. You know, the previous guy went and did his thing. He's dealing with a whole nother chick and ain't even worried about the woman that you're with now. You know, now that's your woman. Now you dealing with her. You're responsible. You know, and that's why we going in the kingdom of heaven ain't gonna be none of this confusion. There's gonna be a new heaven and a new earth. Okay. But let me get to the scriptures now. And let's go to 1 Corinthians 7. Because really no one is innocent in this whole thing. Nobody, man. And there's a lot of this going on in all these big congregations, man. They become huge. They got a big cult following, both men and women. Yeah, it's going to be some stuff, man. This is 1 Corinthians 7, and let me start at verse 10. And it says, "And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord, let not the wife depart from her husband. But if she depart, let her remain unmarried," right? "Or be reconciled to her husband." So either if you're going to separate or part ways with your man, you can't divorce him. You're still going to be up under his dominion as long as he lives. That's in Romans, the 7th chapter. All right, you're bound under law to your husband until he dies. All right, but as long as he's alive, you still technically up under him. But hey, this society is so jacked up, everything's turned upside down. You know, we were all living in our ignorance. All right, we wasn't raised in this truth to understand and know that. So, you know, you got what you got, and now you know the truth, and you know you repent. You know, you may have gotten tattoos before you got the truth. So now you know the truth. Now you don't get any more. You just got to live with, you know, you got to live with it. You know, it's going to be on your body, but you understand that eventually we're going to have new bodies, and we're going to shed these sinful bodies anyway, you know? So if you were dealing with a woman that wasn't a virgin, it was technically adultery. But if y'all found a light, you know, when y'all got together, you know, you don't turn back. All right, now you dealing with her. hey, the Most High took his woman back, you know. His woman was an adulterer, talking about the nation of Israel. But he reconciled back with Israel through Yahushai. All right, so we was given a clean slate. You know, when you get with your woman, if she continues with you, it's like she's been given a clean slate. She can't look she can't look backwards. All right, she can't, you know, no going back to your exes and all that stuff, because that'll be wicked. You know, she's got a deal now that she knows the truth. So continuing on, it says, but to the rest speak I, not the Lord. If any brother have a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with them, let him not put her away. And Yahushua said, if a man put his woman away, except it be for fornication, right, and another man comes along and marry her that's put away, her and that man committed adultery, but you committed adultery against your wife, because you caused her to commit adultery by putting her away. If she didn't commit adultery with you and she was pleased to dwell with you, even though she's not a believer, you causing that woman to commit adultery. So if you, you know, put your woman away, it's really for her to, really both of you to reflect and to, you know, try to reconcile. All right, whatever issues may be going on. And even Paul said, y'all shall have trouble in the flesh, but I spare you. You know, it's inevitable. You're going to have problems. You know, you dealing with a woman and she's been with other men before you, you're going to be definitely going to be dealing with problems, because she got, you know, other spirits, you know, on her from the previous men. All right. So this is what we got to deal with, right? But if she still be pleased to dwell with you, you can't put her away. All right. And Pastor Dow was like, well, Deuteronomy 24 say, once a man divorce a woman, she may go and be another man's wife. And Yahushua corrected that and said he suffered Moses to put that in the law because of the hardness of your hearts. He knew that Jake was going to be wicked anyway. So he suffered Moses to add that divorce law in there. But from the beginning, it wasn't so. All right. But Jacob used that as opportunities, because Jake is wicked. You know, he put the bug in that woman's head to divorce this dude so that he can be with her. And that's wicked. All right. Verse 13, it says, and the woman which have an husband that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. All right. Why? For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now are they holy. So whether you have a believing wife or a husband, the unbeliever is sanctified by the believer. All right. And you have no clue, you know, you being devoted to this ministry and having your faith, and you showed change of lifestyle, behavior, the way you appear, your appearance. Your spouse might see that and see the dedication, and it actually be influenced by it. You know, they might even like that you made that transformation, and they'll be like, man, whatever it is that made you transform like this, I'm interested. And like, for example, Timothy, his mother was a believer. She was in the truth, but his father wasn't in the truth. You know, he still had a Greek mindset. You know, he was basically worldly. He was a Greek, but his father was by lineage, he was an Israelite. All right. But imagine if one of the bishops in the church, you know, whatever church that Timothy's mother was a part of, imagine if a bishop set her up with another dude, even though she's married to Timothy's father, who wasn't in the truth, who was not a part of the church. That would be adultery. If they was telling her, yeah, you got to get away from Timothy's dad, all right, because he's a heathen, he's not a believer, he's not in the truth, and gave her over to another man in the church, Paul wouldn't have let that happen. He wouldn't have let that rock. All right, let me see if I could find the account. Timothy's mother. I think her name was Lois, or was it Eunice? Yeah, it was Eunice. That's Timothy's mother. And so this is 2 Timothy 1:5. It says, when I call to remembrance the unfeigned faith that is in thee, which dwelt first in thy grandmother Lois. So, his grandmother was a believer. She was in the truth. And it says, and thy mother Eunice, and I am persuaded that in thee also. So his grandmother, mother, and himself was a part of the truth. And his mother brought, he saw his mother. All right. But he also knew that his father was a heathen. That's why Timothy was uncircumcised. Let me see. I'm trying to find that scripture. His father was a Greek. Yep. Acts 16:1. It says, then he came to Derbe and Lystra, and behold, a certain disciple was there named Timotheus, the son of a certain woman, which was a Jewess, the Israelite woman, and believed, but his father was a Greek. And this is one of the ways that we know that Timothy is an Israelite, because people call Timothy a heathen, a non-Israelite, because his father was a Greek. But his father wasn't a Greek ethnically. His father was an Israelite, but Greek was his fashion of life. He grew up in the Greek custom. All right, he spoke the Greek language. But I'm pretty sure that his father and Timothy's mother met young. All right, and they liked each other, of course, obviously, and they dealt with each other. They was given in marriage, and they had Timothy, but his father did not. He was not a part of the truth. All right, they were living in a different region outside of Judea, where you had a lot of Jews of the diaspora that were speaking Greek and following Greek customs, worshiping Greek gods. That was the way of life. So her being a Jew and a believer, she had to have known the law. And the law pretty much tells you you're not supposed to marry your daughters to heathen sons. We're not supposed to give our daughters onto them. So she would know that she can't marry an actual heathen. So obviously her father just wasn't in the truth. He was a Greek mentally, culturally. She would not have been able to leave Timothy's father just because he was a Greek. He could have been sanctified by Eunice, Timothy's mother, because she was a believer. So you got Christians that'll teach that, not understanding the history and the dynamic. All right, she's with an Israelite, but the man wasn't in the truth. He was not a believer. All right, he didn't speak Hebrew. Okay, he didn't come into the truth of Yahushua and his resurrection and his sacrifice. He's living in a whole nother region, worshiping Greek customs. So it would have been out of order for Timothy's mother to get with another man while Timothy's father is present. Oh, he wasn't in the truth, so we're not together. So I'm gonna go and be with this guy in the church. Paul wouldn't have allowed that. All right, and they all knew the truth. So there's just an example, okay? So going back to Corinthians 7, let's go back there. And hey, we all in error, man. We were in error, all right. But if you know the truth now, and you got with your woman, sisters got with a brother in the truth. Hey, you move forward. We repent. We have a remorse, for our past sins, and you keep it moving forward. Now, the brother that you with now, you better not ever leave him. Ever. Okay? That's just what it is. It says, verse 11, it says, and if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife. But to the rest speak I not the Lord. If any brother have a wife that believe not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. And a woman which have an husband that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. And I guess in this instance, the former husband of this woman, he wasn't pleased to dwell with her. He didn't care. He pretty much moved on. So in their eyes, it was like, all right, well, you fair game then. He's out of the picture. Y'all not dealing anymore. Y'all don't have any dealings. And he even, in his same video, he revealed that they communicated, and the dude was like, all right, cool. Do what y'all do, They spoke as men or whatever, and they had an understanding. Technically, it's still, wrong. But this is the dynamic that we have dealing with this current society. If you're trying to get you a virgin, that's not going to happen. Because if you're not going to find one in this world, unless you go against the societal norm and culture, and deal from the ancient aspect. You start dealing with women as soon as they hit puberty, where you think that there's a bigger chance that she ain't been touched yet, but she would be fairly too young on this side, and that in itself would be, it would be all bad for you. That's not expedient. They did that in the ancient world, but you can't do that now. Okay. So, yeah, man. I just wanted to, kind of do a lesson centered around this, because, you got this type of thing that goes on. All right. And that's why we don't have all this confusion, because you put, a bunch of men and a bunch of women together. Yeah, you best believe you're setting up the atmosphere. All right. The Lord is not the author of confusion, man. All right. But peace, throughout the saints. So if you got a woman and she's single, she got to learn in silence. And a brother desires her, whether he has a woman or not, and she's cool with that, then y'all do what y'all do. But if you married, you need to, stick with your man. And if your man is in the truth, you learn everything from him. All right. Because a woman, she can easily get influenced by another man. She can start getting seduced by another man. And once he influences her, he knows that he can work his way towards that woman. And that's what that dude, Pastor Dow, did with this man's ex-wife. So I always wanted to cover that, and Lord willing, this was edifying. I'm give all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And to the next lesson, Shalom.